Hi, my name is Shelly Murder, and welcome to my very first podcast, Not Small Talk, where I talk about anything and everything that you definitely shouldn't say at a dinner party, and just gonna provide a place for discussion about politics, the news, how to be healthy, basically anything that I feel like talking about. So let's get started. First things first, link in the description, or look in the description, sorry. I'm going to put the times of where each new topic starts because this podcast might get kind of long and I know that you might not want to listen to every single thing that I'm going to talk about. So if you just want to hear about politics, then you can start at that time. Or if you just want to hear about being healthy, start at that time. Okay? Cool. So let's start with politics. This election has been insane. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I had to sit down when I was writing this script and just like stare at my computer and be like, I could talk about Donald Trump for days. Literally days, and I wouldn't even cover everything that's important. So today, I'm just going to talk about the recent news about Donald Trump, like a little bit of the debate, the aftermath of the debate, like just that stuff because, yeah, he said some god-awful things, over the past year during this election cycle, but we just don't have enough time for it. So if you want to hear about that, go watch Stephen Colbert's YouTube videos, go watch Bill Maher's, I don't fucking care, but we're not talking about it here today. Okay. So, obviously, everybody talks about Donald Trump. Literally everybody. And, you could watch CNN or CBS, you could watch the news, and probably most of their 30-minute or hour-long news segment, like nightly news, is going to be devoted to Donald Trump. Why? Well, me personally, it's because he's a fucking crazy lunatic, okay? Like, he's just good news because everything he does is unbelievable. I mean, at this point, it's kind of predictable, but like in the beginning, during the primaries, it was like Donald Trump calls Mexicans rapists, and he wants to build a wall, and, is saying hurtful comments to all of these different people, and it's just good news. It's good for ratings. It gets people watching. It drums up emotion. Just everybody's obsessed with this guy. And I mean, I am too a little bit. I'm obsessed. Like, I get angry just like other people. Like, other people are obsessed with him and that they're, think he's a good candidate for the presidency. I just think he's crazy. And it's, interesting to read about him, and it pisses me off. But I do it anyway, just like everybody else. So keeping that in mind, I know a lot of people are just tired of hearing about it, and I kind of am too, but we have to keep in mind that this guy is running for president. The election is in less than 20 days. Like, we don't have that much time, So keeping that in mind, let's talk about the polls. After the debate, I looked up the polls for today from CNN. Hillary Clinton is ahead at 47%, and Trump is at 42%, and polls are always like plus or minus 2%, so keep that in mind too. I think Gary Johnson was like 7%, and Jill Stein at like 2%. So after the debate, after these like sexual harassment, sexual assault accusations have come out, like Donald Trump's been tanking in the polls. Like, just tanking. And, I mean, it's not a surprise. Like, if President Obama had the same thing happen to him when he was running in 2008, like, he would have been tanking too. But the difference is that Trump supporters don't care. Like, they don't care. He could seriously... I mean, he even said in the primaries that he could shoot a guy and his supporters would still be there for him, and he was right. Like, I mean, what? 24 women have come forward as of today accusing him of assaulting them in some way, and he's still got 42%. Like, and obviously part of the reason is because, you know, his answer to that is that they're all lies and Hillary Clinton's behind it, and, you know, why is it so close to the election? It has to be a conspiracy. And it's like, yeah, you know, his supporters, most of his supporters are not very educated, so that's a good answer for them. But, like, it's not true. I mean, sorry to say, it's not true. Really, what happened, I think, and obviously, you know, we don't really know. There's a lot of secrecy behind it, but there's no way that Hillary Clinton could have, in the world, because it's not just her, but in the world, gotten together and been like, okay, it's less than, you know, 30 days before the election, let's get him. Like, it's just not possible. So, like, to me, if they were gonna do this, why would they have waited until just now? Like, to me, if I was Hillary Clinton and I had, like, oh, I can pay off these women to come forward and accuse them of rape, why would I do it right now? Like, I would have done it, you know, months ago, because, you know, these two have been going at it for months now. Like, I would have done it months ago to, like, ensure that I would win. I wouldn't wait until the last minute, because, you know, if I was Hillary Clinton, like, being, like, supervillain conspiracy person, you know, trying to take him down, I wouldn't want to wait until the last minute, because people could think that I was, you know, conspiring against him, because it looks bad, right? Because it does. So what I think happened is, because it started with that tape from 2005, which was, like, it was held by the Today Show, but it wasn't, like, used in anything, you know? So I think that tape has been in existence in somebody's hands for a while now, and for whatever reason, they decided just now to put it out there. I don't know if it was like you know, we wanted to put it out for a long time and we're just gonna do it right now because the election is so close, or what. Maybe somebody did pay them. I don't know, but I don't think Hillary Clinton paid him. Or them, I guess. I don't think she's behind it in that way. Of course, she's probably, you know, in her office or whatever, like, dancing a jig and, you know, drinking and having a good time and a fucking celebration, because, like, he keeps putting his fucking foot in his mouth, and, you know, she doesn't have to do anything. I mean, she has to worry about herself, and that's it. She doesn't have to smear him, because he literally does it himself. Like, and one segment I saw on CBS about all of these sexual assault accusers coming forward is, like, why didn't Donald Trump, like, vet himself better? Like, all presidents, or, like, presidential candidates, when they decide they're gonna run for president, they have a whole team of people research themselves, find their skeletons in the closets, and just either bury it or address it in the beginning so it doesn't come back to bite him in the ass. Like, why didn't Trump think about this? You know? I mean, obviously he's, like, a narcissistic a-hole, so, like, you know, he didn't think it was a problem, whatever. But it's like, seriously, dude, could you Google yourself? Like, I don't know. But anyway, moving on a little bit. So, also in the debate, if you guys watched it, if not, I'll tell you a little bit of what the important things that happened, because I did watch it. I didn't get to watch the first one, but I watched the second one and the third one. But anyway, in this last debate, the moderator asked him if he would accept the election results if he lost, because it's an American tradition for the peaceful, like, transition of power. You know, if you're the loser, you say, oh, well, sucks to lose, but congratulations, winner, have fun being president, and you move on with your life. That's just how it has to work in this country to keep a democracy. You know, the point of having a democracy is so we don't have to worry about, conflicts, war, skirmishes of the sort when we have new political people in power. We vote for those people to be in power because we don't want to live in a country where we constantly have to worry about, fighting, I guess, like every time that there's a new election or something. We don't want to have a dictatorship. That's why we have the laws that we do in the Constitution. That's why we have this tradition of the peaceful transition of power. So, knowing that, in the debate, Trump said, we'll see, basically. Like, we'll see if I'll be peaceful or not. And the moderator even asked him repeatedly, you realize that this is an important American tradition, an important part of our democracy. Are you sure you want to answer that way? And the fucking idiot still said, we'll see, I like the suspense. Yeah. So that's scary. Like I said, he said so many different things. I could talk about it for days. But that in itself is scary because, like I said, if you look at the Middle East, okay, a lot of their countries are technically democratic, but there are political parties just like ours, but their political parties are militarized in that they literally fight each other to win political power, to win their elections, okay? And it's dangerous. People die. It's violent. It's not democratic. If you have to worry about dying every time there's a new election because there isn't, your country doesn't follow a strict moral code, democratic code of where if you lose the vote, sucks to be you, but you're gonna keep your head high about it and give it to the other person because that's what you're supposed to do for the betterment of your country. I'm not saying that these Middle Eastern countries that do this are bad. I'm just saying this happens there and it could happen here. With Trump refusing to say that he would accept election results if he loses, that's fucking scary because his supporters are crazy. I don't know if you guys have ever met any of them or if you are them, and I'm sorry that you found your way to this podcast because you're probably not going to be very happy with me from what I was saying, but whatever. But, his supporters are very violent. They carry guns. They're some of the ones that I've met and that I've seen, the videos of his rallies are just very, shoot first, ask questions later, get in a fight first and ask questions later. With that attitude and just the rhetoric of saying that, you're not going to accept the election results, you can cause some riots. You really need to be careful talking like that. Because, when Donald Trump has such, an aura about him, his supporters just will literally be behind him no matter what, and they probably agree with him. They probably want him to say, I won't accept the election results because they think that it's rigged too. However, you have to be the bigger person and just fucking lose. If you lose. If you throw a fit about it, there will be riots. I am so afraid. I'm going to college right now, and luckily my university is pretty liberal, but I live in Ohio, and Ohio is a swing state, but my hometown in Ohio is very Republican. They've always voted Republican, and that's fine. But in this election, they are extreme. I went home a couple of weekends ago and I was afraid to be out and about because people there was for example, in my hometown, somebody had a Trump sign in their front yard, and I guess some teenager or something stole it from them. and because it made them mad, which I don't blame them, but whatever, don't steal. Just gonna say that. But the person who had the Trump sign, the guy got on my hometown's Facebook page and he was like, whoever stole my goddamn Trump sign, I'm gonna be waiting out here with a gun, and if you wanna try to, come back and mess with my property again, I'm not gonna wait, I'll shoot you. And it's like, it's a political sign, dude, but that's just the like feeling of my hometown and of a lot of places in Ohio. So, with Trump saying that he's not going to accept those election results if he loses, it makes me scared to exist in my state, because there's just so much unease and tension, and I just wish, like, whatever he thinks about, whatever he feels, whatever he says, I just wish he would think a little bit about how his words affect people, because that's what politicians do. Like, they are supposed to represent the American people, do the best for us that they possibly can. That's why we vote them in office, is so they can make decisions for our country and do the best for our people that they can. And they represent us. And it's like, I don't know, but whatever. Moving on. Okay. So back to more things that have happened this week with politics. And I got this information from CBS. So Trump has been campaigning in Ohio this week, on Thursday, and he was on 2 different interviews. He was asked about racist and sexist comments he's made, and also the sexual assault allegations, and he just walked out, like, just straight up gave up. He's like, thank you, I'm not dealing with this, basically. And it's like, I mean, it's kind of understandable. If I were him, I wouldn't want to talk about it either, but like, it's kind of showing defeat, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, since this is happening, he said that they're all lies. He said that nobody respects women more than I do, and, all of those things. And it's like, okay, Donald, like, okay. But any other politician would have apologized. No matter if it was true or not, any other politician would have been like, I am so sorry that, like, when the first tape came out in 2005, where he was like, I just grabbed him by the pussy. That day, he should have been, I am so sorry that I said those words, that was a long time ago, and I really regret it, and I am so sorry for all of the pain that I've caused. And he should have just got on his knees and begged for mercy, and maybe people would have been a lot more okay with it than they are now. Women would have been a lot more okay with it if he would have got on his knees and apologized to the people, instead of just saying that it's rigged, and then more allegations come and more allegations come, and it just makes him look worse. And now, like, a lot of women aren't voting for him. And, like, last time I checked, like, 51% of the US population are women. Yeah, it's pretty close, 51-49, like, that's pretty even, but it's still 51 versus 49. So not having the female vote is huge. It is huge. So if all of those women are voting for Hillary or, the third-party candidates, like, sucks to be you, Donald. You're not going to win. It's just not going to happen. So walking out of those interviews, it makes him look like a loser. It makes him look like a sore fucking loser. So good for him. But okay, so we've covered that. Now let's cover, going back to the sexual assault allegations. I want to talk a little bit about that buzzword that we hear a lot, rape culture. And I know this is going to get people a little fired up because the internet really just doesn't like feminism. And all I have to say to that is, like, I don't know, fuck you, internet? I don't know. That's what I want to say. But as a feminist, what I feel like I should say are, here's some ways you can educate yourself before you come off as a total fucking douchebag. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yes, I'm a feminist, and I'm not afraid to say that I'm a feminist. But I kind of am, to be honest, because the internet just really just hates it. Like, the internet, you guys may know this, you guys may not, but you could read YouTube comments of female, like, YouTubers, female creators, and their comments are significantly more hurtful than male creators are, or YouTube channels. Like, usually female comments on female YouTubers are like, around like what she looks like, how she sounds, she sounds like an idiot, she's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Whereas like a male creator could literally say the exact same thing and nobody will comment on how he looks, nobody will comment on what his voice sounds like, and nobody will comment saying that he's stupid for saying whatever he said. That's sexism. Sorry if you don't agree with it, but that's what it is. So back to rape culture, that funny words that we hear about a lot, especially with, Donald Trump's sexual assault allegations of the past couple of weeks. What is rape culture? Let's just start there. What is it? Well, it's a feminist term or definition that came around when feminism did in the 70s, but it's really coming back now. And in my own words, basically, from my own experiences, basically rape culture is the culture within our society that says it's okay for men to commit sexual assault. It's okay for them to do so. It's represented in our movies and media and our music and just in our daily lives. Like, men aren't blamed for the sexual assault actions that they commit, and women don't get justice for it. So an example of that is that I'm guessing female listeners out there, you've probably had at least one experience in your life where you felt sexually threatened, you've been catcalled, you've been like a guy's been hitting on you in a way that makes you feel very uncomfortable and you don't like it, or you've actually been sexually assaulted. Like, almost every woman has a story about that. Ask anybody. And a lot of times, like, us women will get together and we'll just tell stories for a long time of, bad things that have happened to us and made us feel scared. And that shows, if every woman has a story, that shows there's a problem. I mean, plain and simple. Like, why is it normal for women to get together and tell stories about how they've been scared or threatened in some way, having to do with, their body or, what they're wearing, what they look like? That shouldn't be a thing, okay? So, and on top of that, I've got these statistics from RAINN, which is the, hold on. It's basically an organization, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. RAINN is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. So it's the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. They've got a hotline. Let me give that to you because, you guys may be listening out there and, we're talking about some heavy stuff. And if you want to call the hotline, it is 1-800-656-HOPE, or you can go to rainn.org and have a live chat, get help over the phone. I really encourage it. And also, if you're in immediate danger right now, please call 911. Most people know that, but just putting it out there, like, those numbers are out there for you. There are people out there for you right now. So I really recommend that you take advantage of it. But anyway, so that's what RAINN is. So they provide a lot of statistics. They provide help about rape and abuse. So here we go. So according to RAINN, and this is quoted, every 109 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. That's a lot. Literally, let's see. So a little bit over a minute and a half. So a little bit over a minute and a half, an American is sexually assaulted. So, you can check the time of how long the podcast is run, and we can do the calculations and figure out how many women have been attacked, while you've just been listening to me talk. And it's sad, and it's scary, especially being a woman. It's like, fuck, I could walk out of my house today and, get raped or get raped in my house. Like, it's fucking terrible. But anyway, so knowing that many, well, not just women, Americans, I'm sorry. That's totally, even I do it. That's an unfeminist thing of me to assume, because men get raped too. They do. Statistically, queer men get raped more than straight men, but straight men can be raped also. And I'm sorry. So making that, part of being a human being is making mistakes. So as a feminist, I try to pay attention to what I say and acknowledge it, and hopefully with this podcast, help you guys do that too, Let's make this an involved thing. But, okay. So, every 109 seconds, American is sexually assaulted, while only 6 out of 1,000 sexual assault perpetrators actually go to prison. 6 out of 1,000. And you're like, okay, Megan. Or you're like, okay, Shelly, what does that mean? Well, that means that out of those 1,000 perpetrators, somehow only 6 of them get prison time or punishment, in that way. The rest of them, and that's not even like a minimum prison. That's just prison time in general. That could be prison time for 30 days, for 6 years. That's just prison time, dude, that we're talking about. So what does everybody else do? Well, they're not convicted, which is most of them. Or, they get probation or some sort of punishment outside of prison, which isn't right, because basically, and this is where the rape culture part of it comes into, if somebody stole my car and I went to the police about it, they wouldn't make me feel bad for somebody stealing my car. They would be like, okay, let's go find the dude, or the person, I guess. Let's go find them. It's their fault that they stole from you. You had nothing to do with it. They made that decision. We'll go find your car and we'll arrest them. And they'll probably go to prison for it because, there isn't the same idea about other crimes as there are about rape. Whereas if somebody rapes me, they'll ask me what I was wearing, was I drinking, how was I acting, and they'll, and not everybody, but most police officers won't take it as seriously as if somebody stole my car. If they do actually go find the person and arrest them, they'll, and if it goes to trial, if it actually goes to trial, I'll have to get up on the witness stand and, their defense attorney will make it seem like it was my fault. That's what rape culture is, victim blaming. That's part of rape culture. That it's my fault if I get raped. For whatever reason, I brought it upon myself. And that is wrong, people. It's wrong. You don't blame somebody if their car gets stolen. You don't. You say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your car was stolen. It's not your fault. We'll go find that person. But if you're raped, it's always, what were you wearing? So, and it's getting really heavy. This podcast is getting really heavy, and I probably shouldn't have started with such heavy topics, but this is who I am. That's why it's called Not Small Talk. We're gonna get into it. If we're starting with rape culture, where are we gonna be in a month? I don't know, but stay with me, okay? So I only wanted to briefly talk about that. So one more thing I guess I want to say, tying that into the politics that we talked about at the top of the podcast, is that Donald Trump's sexual assault allegations and how he keeps calling them lies And also, what he says on those tapes, grab her by the pussy, I just can't help myself around beautiful women. That's rape culture. That's what it is. The idea that, he felt like he can, or feels like he can just go up to women and do whatever he wants to them because, they're beautiful, that he thinks they're beautiful and attractive and sexy and whatnot. And he can just take advantage of them. And then calling it lies afterwards is rape culture, victim blaming, not taking accountability for anything he does. We can't have a president that perpetuates rape culture. We just fucking can't. So that's my opinion on it, and what I have to say about that is if you agree with me, or if you disagree even, go out and vote, please. Please vote. Oh my God. Do it for yourselves, do it for me, do it for whoever, do it for your fucking country. Go vote. Okay. So we're kind of going to move away. We're moving so the setup of each podcast is I'm going to start the topics as a little bit on the heavier side and end on the happier, lighter side, because I think it's better to just leave, discussion like this on like a happier note. It makes me feel better. I think it would make you guys feel better. So let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. So keeping that in mind. Okay. So now we're going to move away from politics and news and more into every podcast I'm going to do this, so have fun. But my public service announcement regarding public health, because that's what my major is in. Like I said, I go to college, I'm majoring in public health. I want to help people stay healthy, prevent disease in the best way that I can, and I think a podcast, YouTube channel is a good way to do that. And I think that even though I don't have my degree yet, I know a little bit about this stuff. I know enough to say it in like layman's terms, I guess, to really encourage people to stay healthy. And hopefully this can be a medium to get, my generation, millennials, really thinking about their health. So let's do this. Okay. So public service announcement, get that flu shot. Okay, get it. And here we're going to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to get too into the science, so don't worry, but get the flu shot. So all of this information is from the CDC, so it's reliable, it's legit. So, the flu. Most people are like, it's not a big deal, happens every year, whatever. It is a big deal, okay? The flu is a big deal. Why? Because it can and does kill people. It kills people. Not as many as cancer or heart disease, but you can die from it. In 2007, 49,000 people died from it. And granted, most of them are senior citizens. Most people in their early 20s aren't going to die from the flu because our immune systems are a little stronger. We're in our prime, I guess you could say. But the fact is that the flu is a dangerous disease, okay? So not the only way, but the best way to keep yourself from getting the flu, to protect yourself from getting the flu, is to get the flu shot, okay? A lot of people think that it's not very effective, or a lot of people don't know that much about it, which is understandable because most ad campaigns about the flu shot is like, go get it. Go get the flu shot. Done. And you're like, okay. So let's talk about it. So the flu, as you may or may not know, changes every year, and there's multiple variations of the flu, but every year the flu mutates and changes, and that's why you have to get the flu shot every year to keep yourself safe. And scientists, when they create that year's flu shot, they have to use math and science to predict what that coming year's flu is going to be. Okay, so that's why most people say that the flu shot is only 80% effective, because you have to take a little bit of, I guess, guessing into it, But 80% is better than 0%, okay? Because if you don't get the vaccination, you have no assurance of being protected from the flu. So keep that in mind. But, okay, so about the vaccine, and actually, no, about the flu. Like I said, it changes every year. And flu season usually officially starts in October and can go until May, guys. You can get the flu in like April and May. And I didn't know about that until today. And I was like, holy crap, like, get the flu shot. Okay. So the vaccine, though, like I said, it's kind of a guessing game, but it's 80% effective. And some people are like, I got the vaccine and I still got the flu. Now that could be because that year's flu shot, wasn't quite on the money. They hadn't guessed what the right variation would be, but that is a lot less unlikely than the fact that the flu shot takes 2 weeks for it to start working. So the vaccine takes 2 weeks in your body after you get it to start working. So a lot of people don't know that, get the flu shot, think that it's immediately effective like some vaccines are, and then get the flu and they're like, oh, I'm never getting a flu shot again because it doesn't work. Well, it does work. It just takes a little while to get in your body, which is why most people say that you should get the flu shot in late September, so it's already in your body, ready for October when you can get hit with it. So, here we are in October, so prepare yourself. But you can get the flu shot in a lot of different places. You can get it at your primary physician, at your doctor. You can get it at the CVS Minute Clinic and Urgent Care and all those other clinics. If you're at college, you can definitely get it at your college health center. I know my college has it. It's actually really cheap. So, Google it. I mean, you can get it almost anywhere. And if money's an issue, I know that low cost community health centers have it. If you qualify for low income, you can get the flu shot for pretty cheap. So it's there for you. Do the research, care about your health. It's important. I care about you, so you should care about you too, okay? So get the flu shot. All right, moving on. We're almost done for today, but, we started with politics. We transitioned to rape culture, transitioned to me bitching at you to get the flu shot, and now I'm going to talk about my all-time favorite musician, actress now, Lady fucking Gaga. She is amazing, and I know it's kind of weird to talk about all these other things and go to her because none of these things go together, but you know what? I said I was going to talk about what I want to talk about, and I want to talk about Lady Gaga because her album just dropped October 21st, Joanne. I've listened to the whole thing on Spotify. You can listen to it there. Holy shit, it's so good. It is so good. It is unlike anything she has ever done before, and you can really hear the power and the emotion and passion in these songs. Unlike, you can hear emotion in her other songs, but these ones just have something dirty and untouched about them, and I just can't get over it. So, but me saying that, I am getting really, really tired of all of these people on the internet, commenting on her stuff or making YouTube videos saying, bring back the old Gaga. If you're trying to pigeonhole your favorite creators into what they've done in the past, you're never gonna get good, true content from them, okay? So if we're gonna try to force Lady Gaga to do her, dance pop electronic style of the past, it's not gonna be good. That isn't what she wants to do. She wants to, take on different styles, take on different genres, be who she wants to be. And if you try to restrict her like that, you're not gonna get good music. Sorry. So either don't listen to it and, get over yourself, or, think about it from a new perspective and listen to it for what it is. If it wasn't Lady Gaga singing Angel Down or Perfect Illusion or Million Reasons, if it wasn't her, okay, and it was somebody else, some indie artist, you probably wouldn't say it was bad. Yeah? Yeah. It's only because it isn't the same as what her previous music is. You expect it to be something, and you don't get what you expected or, preparing yourself for, and it throws you off balance, and that's understandable. But listen to it for what it is, okay? That's all I have to say. Go buy Joanne. It's beautiful. I cried. Angel Down is probably my favorite song on the album. It is such a beautiful song, and I can't get over it. So go buy it, have fun, listen to Lady Gaga. Okay, so finally, I'm going to end every podcast with a happy song. Happy song, okay, yeah. With happy news, positive news, something that, you can do to better your life. But today, I got this information from Huffington Post, but I'm going to talk about this nonprofit organization. It's called Camions of Care. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, let me know down in the comments. I really apologize, but it is and it's spelled Camions of Care. So Camions of Care. I don't know. Camions. Anyway, but it's a nonprofit in LA, and it was started by a teenager, and it's basically providing pads and tampons and, sanitary napkins, I guess, to homeless people. And it's amazing because nobody donates those items. Nobody donates tampons to homeless shelters because either A, they don't really realize that homeless people need more than food. I think that's a common mistake. They don't have enough deodorant or toothpaste either, because all we think about is eating for homeless people, that they need to eat, but they need to brush their teeth and they need tampons too. So I think that's a big problem. But another thing is that people are just kind of embarrassed to talk about periods. It's a really hushed topic. It's becoming more of a popular thing on the internet nowadays, which is great. I'm really happy about it. But in the past and in the older generations, we just act like they don't exist. We just act like periods aren't a thing. We cover it up. We keep our sanitary stuff secret, hidden away. We don't talk about it to other people. We don't show it to other people. And so I think people are just kind of uncomfortable with donating pads and tampons to homeless shelters because they just aren't comfortable with their own bodies, with periods in general. And I think that's a really big problem. But so I'm so happy that this nonprofit exists because it is such a needed thing. And it's so empowering that a teenage girl started this organization. Good for fucking her. So, but there's so many chapters across the US now. There's 47 high school and university chapters. There's over 2,000 volunteers. You can go and donate on their website, www.camionsofcare.org. You can donate, you can figure out how to volunteer. Check it out. I really encourage it. And you yourself, if you want to just donate by yourself to a homeless shelter, donate some tampons and pads, okay? Donate some food too, but they really need those pads and tampons. It's important. We don't want to, we don't want homeless people to get infections from, reusing old tampons, toxic shock syndrome, all that, really bad, nasty stuff. So keep people healthy, do good, and have a great day, okay? Have an amazing, fantastic day. I'm Shelly Murder. Thank you for staying with me through this podcast.